In this video, we're going to focus on switching between fractions, decimals, and percentages. So let's start off with this question here. We have 1 over 8. Now, we could do this using long division, but instead I prefer to think of this as 1/4 divided by 2. And I know that 1/4 is 0.25. And I know 0.25 divided by 2 is 0.125. Now, this isn't necessarily something you need to know off the top of your head, but you should be comfortable to recognize that half of a quarter is an eighth. And you should be able to recognize that 1/4 is the same thing as 0.25, since 25 cents is a quarter of a dollar. Now the last step here, 0.25 divided by 2 equals 0.125. You can think of this as 25 divided by 2. The reason why I know it's 12.5 is because 24 divided by 2 is 12. We have a remainder of 1, and then we divide that by 2, so we get 12.5. And then because we started off with 0.25, we need to divide this by 100. So we move the decimal place 2 spaces to the left. So don't get scared of decimals. So if you ever get stuck on a decimal question, just consider multiplying the number by 100 or 1,000 to get rid of the decimal. And then you can always go backwards. To go from here to here, I multiplied by 100. And then at the end, to go back, I divided by 100. Now, obviously don't write this on a test, but this is kind of what's going on in your mind, and you can do this as what they call an aside, when you do something that's not mathematically correct, but it's just showing your process work along the way. Okay, now to go from a decimal to a percent, you just want to divide by 100. So 12.5% is actually the answer. If you don't see any easy way to transform the fraction into a decimal, you can also just use long division, like I have here. Now, let's say this time we start off with 0.8. In this case, it's easier to do the percentage first by multiplying by 100, and we get 80%. So generally, when you're doing these questions, you kind of want to do fraction, decimal, percent. So depending on where you are currently, it might be faster to go one way or another. So if you're already at decimal, it makes sense to go to percentage, or fraction. It doesn't really make sense to go from percentage to fraction, or fraction to percentage. So that's why I went back to decimal instead of going from 80% to fraction, because you're going to end up having to do extra steps. So 0.8, we can think of this as 8 divided by 10, since we know that the decimal got moved one place to the left. And that's the same thing as 8 over 10. And then we just need to simply reduce the fraction. That's it for this video. For homework, find the missing fraction, decimal, and/or percentage for the following 3 examples. If you know someone that needs tutoring, you can earn a referral reward up to $120 depending on how many hours they do in the first month.